Welcome to Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet, the podcast that uses music to inspire us in the struggle against climate change. Songs to warm your soul so you can help cool the world.
Hi, I'm Warren Senders, and this is Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet. I've said for a long time that the three facets of activism can be boiled down into changing our conversation, changing our consumption, and changing our politics. In today's episode, I'd like you to meet someone who's changing the climate conversation in India, bringing together great Indian musicians along with environmental scientists and activists, and turning the results into a remarkable series of performance videos.
Bharat Chanata Bharat Chalata Dharata Paga Dharata Paga Dharata Paga Digamaga.
With me today is Devina Dutt. She is an arts writer and journalist who in recent years has turned to program production. Devina, welcome to Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you for inviting me. I'd like to say that although this was to an extent an individual effort, we are a team, and the organization I set up is called First Edition Arts. We've been working in the classical music space for more than a decade.
To find participants, Devina reached out to both Hindustani and Carnatic classical musicians, that is, specialists in both North and South Indian traditions respectively. These musical styles are typically performed indoors for a small audience of discerning connoisseurs. Outdoor concerts happen occasionally, but concerts like the kind that Devina arranged, never. Putting musicians in wild settings, on beaches, by riverbanks, in the middle of a rainforest, that had never been attempted before, and certainly never with the kind of videography and attention to detail that the Blue Planet team brought to these productions. The team began by documenting encounters up and down India's west coast, like this one from the Anjuna tide pools in Goa, where Carnatic singer Ramakrishnan Murthy and marine biologist Gabriela de Cruz spent a morning discussing seaweed.
We found a wonderful marine conservationist. Gabriela was based in Goa, and she told us about the importance of tide pools and seaweed and studying marine life as an indication of how ecologically stable or vulnerable a particular area is. And then we invited a Carnatic musician to come there, and she went with him early morning, and she actually demonstrated. She went into the sea and she kind of demonstrated to him what her work was.
So this is basically called sargassum. It's a seaweed that we find very commonly on the west coast of India, sometimes on the east coast. And this is the one I harvest. And this is traditionally, you get something called sodium alginate from it, which is a gel. which goes into the pharmacology industry. But now what people are doing with it is they're starting to make bioplastics from it. So this very same seaweed is used to make bioplastics, which is really cool. But I personally really like to eat it. And so what I'm trying to do with it is to make it into a high value food product. For example, like I really want to make a seaweed pickle. So I feel like I love pickle, and my, like, I don't know, like a seaweed and raw mango pickle would be amazing.
This is Sugata Kumari, the charismatic poetess whose verses in the Malayalam language and social activism were at the forefront of the Save Silent Valley movement. The movement began in 1966, when the Silent Valley, so-called because there were no cicadas in it, was threatened with flooding from a hydroelectric project. Sugata Kumari and other environmental activists triggered a national campaign that eventually brought the valley into national park status in 1985. The Blue Planet team visited the Silent Valley and met with one of the original activists who'd helped make the movement possible, P.N. Unnikrishnan, now living in retirement at the very edge of the valley he helped save.
This gentleman, P. Unnikrishnan, is one of those legendary figures in Indian environmental activism. And he was living a quiet, retired life on the edges of a forest in the very region that he spent his working life in. So we took the Carnatic vocalist Pantula Rama there. So early morning we had a concert on the river behind his house.
During that period, the environmental movement became very strong in Kerala after the Silent Valley protests. That movement continued, and one Sugata Kumari, she's a poetess. So she was much more volatile in her expressions. Then she came here and started a small project for conservation, and then with the help of some tribal villages, she raised a nursery, and then Forest Department fortunately gave her a piece of 100 hectares of land for planting. She joined hands with some technical experts who are well known in this field, and then started a project here for planting and managing that 100 hectares of forest.
prakala todai mundu benu kaniru prakala todai mundu benu kaniru prakala todai mundu benu kaniru prakala todai mundu முரஹர ಮುಂದು ಬೇನು ಕನಿರು ಉರಕಲದೋಡೈ ಎಂದೂಗ ನನಿ ಅಂದಮು ಬಲೆ ಎಂದೂಗ ನನಿ ಅಂದಮು ಬಲೆ ರಘು ಎಂದೂಗ ನನಿ ಅಂದಮು ಬಲೆ പോകവേ നിങ്ങൾ കേട്ടു നിന്നുവോ തോഴരേ നന്ദി നന്ദി.
The Bharatnatyam dancer Christopher Gurusamy and his collaborator, vocalist Vignesh Ishwar, met with organic farmers at a farm in Kodai Canal, a hill station at the southern end of the Western Ghats in the state of Tamil Nadu.
Damage because of pesticides.
இந்த மண்ணு
மண்ணு முத்தலா போயிடுது. ஏதோ மருந்து அடிக்கிறதுனால
மலடு தன்மை வந்திருக்கு அந்த மண்ணுக்கு.
There they talked with the farmers, learned about the work that they were doing, and then proceeded to give an astonishing performance of traditional music and dance spread out over a beautiful hillside.
We wanted to do something with music and dance, and I knew I wanted to do that with younger musicians because as a rule generally in the classical world they're more open to ideas. The two, Christopher and Vignesh, they were like my partners in this creation because they found the place for me. I said we were looking for a place and let's try and put something together which is somehow about nature. Let's set it in the natural world, but not in a strident way. It has to be art. I think the wonderful thing about our classical and traditional arts is that they're so stylized that they suggest. And I think the power of suggestion sometimes runs deeper. It goes deeper than, just bringing out data and talking about facts and figures. that's the great advantage of our classical and traditional art forms, that they are metaphors. They suggest, they're oblique, and and yet they run deeper into use.
Kokila madhura ravena swagatam Krishneti mudagvayanti paramanandena param stuvalti Kokila madhura ravena swagatam Krishneti mudagvayanti.
The East Kolkata wetlands cover 125 square kilometers, and they're integral to the city's survival. Journalist and environmentalist Producedvideo Acharya toured the wetlands as the prelude to a performance by Hindustani singer Waseem Ahmed Khan.
So, like I was saying, I grew up here, but I didn't know that this kind of an ecosystem exists just right around the corner, and it's always been protecting the city. Government officials and policymakers, I don't think that they're doing enough to protect this place, to protect their livelihoods. For example, you see a lot of illegal waste dumping, you see a lot of environmental degradation of water, land, soil and so on, but not enough is being done by anybody really to protect this place. So, as we face the consequences of the climate crisis more and more, this ecosystem, the wetland ecosystem, makes Kolkata less vulnerable to all of that. But if we lose the ecosystem, then Kolkata is going to become more and more vulnerable, and it's going to become unlivable at some point. And the climate crisis is not something that is coming in the future. We are already feeling its effects right now. So protecting these kinds of ecosystems becomes even more important in a situation like this. If the wetlands suffer, we all suffer. We might not realize that, we might not know, but that's the truth of the matter. And the reason we've been able to have the life we have in this city is because the wetlands have done their part. The people of the wetlands have done their part. But we need to all join together to do more to protect this place, because otherwise we are all doomed.
the musicians who participated in the Blue Planet project were affected deeply by the experience, but perhaps none more so than master sitarist Budhaditya Mukherjee, shown in these clips playing the surbahar, or bass sitar, in a rainforest in the hills of Darjeeling in the state of West Bengal.
Memorable one was Budhaditya Mukherjee. We took him to a village called Rajahatta, which is just outside one of the oldest reserve forests of India. So a lot of things had gone wrong with the forests, and in recent years, tourism had also kind of destroyed the ecological balance there. So there's this team of youngsters who were all from Darjeeling. They spoke beautifully to us about how they're trying to clean up the village, improve community life there. And we took Budhaditya Dutt to this beautiful misty forest. I remember we began at 7 a.m. in the morning, and it kind of rained through the day like it does in hills and forests. And we would all go undercover. We had these blue tarpaulins which we used to put on our heads. And we had one vehicle, so we asked him to get into the vehicle and we were all out. But he never said, he said, I'm going to continue. And he played Warren for at least 5 hours.
Wow.
Because he was clearly moved by what he was seeing around him.
When you give a concert, you're in an environment and the listeners respond. But if you're in the middle of a woodland, the trees and the birds and the insects and the ecosystem are also your listeners. Just as in a house concert, there's a sense of co-creation with the audience. If you're doing it in a wild space like that, the forest and the forest creatures and the ecosystem was co-creating the music along with him.
That's beautifully said, and I think it's completely true. Also, I want to add here that if I were to present ecological themes or any of these ideas to Budhaditya Dutt as a subject for discussion, I don't think he would respond in the way that he responded through his music. Whatever statement he has to make will come through the art. When you put them there in a state of beauty and in communion with the real world, with the natural world, the trees I was reading lately somewhere that trees are aware and they're communicating with each other. So I'm sure he picked up something, we picked up something happened.
Most Indian classical musicians focus entirely on their art and leave the outside world to fend for itself. But Carnatic singer T.M. Krishna has a lifelong commitment to social and environmental justice. He's been an activist as long as he's been in the public eye. The Blue Planet team took him to the remote state of Nagaland, where he met with the director of the Better Life Foundation, a group that's focused on finding ways for Nagaland's farmers to move from their traditional slash-and-burn cultivation methods to more environmentally sustainable practices.
There's this area which is desperately underdeveloped and poor with very bad roads. So access is an issue to this region. It's called Chuensang district. We came to know of a gentleman called Senchen who's from there. He had created a farmers innovation center. The traditional practice among tribal and hill communities is to do slash and burn cultivation, which is very bad for the plants, for the soil. And because they live in isolated, remote communities, the community feeling is not very defined. So he tried to get the communities together and get them to do other kind of cropping patterns and, to think of the soil and to then also market their products. So I think thinking about environment, development, land will take different forms in different regions and different contexts. It can't be the same thing everywhere.
I found there are so many innovative ideas, best practices, which are there with many farmers.
So within the community itself?
Within the community.
Oh.
So now, we thought we should have a central location where it should be easily accessible.
Correct.
More farmers can, come together.
Like
from
a gathering
time to time.
place.
Agayam yenganum Agayam yenganum Agayam yenganum Ananda kolam Agayam yenganum.
This Farmers Innovation Center, we gave it the name Innovation Center because we are working with 700 farmers,
Okay.
marginal farmers.
Okay. And what were they cultivating in slash and burn?
Mostly it's a paddy.
Paddy.
Corn and millet.
And millets.
Yeah, and we have in chum cultivation we grow a hell lot of 64 different varieties of crops can be grown in a chum cultivation.
In a chum cultivation.
Right.
Yeah.
Starting from the main crop to all the spices, whatever, all the chilies,
Correct.
garlic, whatever we eat.
Ananda kolam Agayam yenganum Ananda kolam Agayam yenganum Ananda kolam Agayam yenganum Ananda kolam Anadi velidan erpudam Agayam Ananda kolam Anadi velidan erpudam Ekanta inbam kalamila kachi Agayam.
As development and exploitation wreak havoc in India's natural spaces, the task of preservation becomes even more important. Suprabha Seshan is a plant preservationist at the Gurukula Botanical Sanctuary in Wayanad, Kerala. She and her team go into areas that have been damaged by encroachment and rescue the wild plants that would otherwise be left to die. They take them back to the sanctuary and give them a place to live. Here, she's talking with Kanjira maestro Aniruddha Atreya.
Okay, so in the rainforest, you have this whole 3D. You have to not just look on the ground, but you're looking all the way up. And with gardening, what we're doing is this 3D gardening, whereas we're not just planting in the ground, we're like doing all this stuff. And each of these plants makes a possibility for another plant. So if this bird's nest fern, it collects fallen leaves from the tree, makes its own compost. Within that compost, you'll have worms and you'll have beetles and you'll have, You can also have other plants growing in the compost. So you see this spiky plant? Yeah. So look at this. It's all coming out of this habitat that this plant has created. And then you have so many. You have this climber, this one which is related to a fern. So you can have hundreds of species on a single tree. So that's the speciality of the rainforest, is that it is vertically diverse, horizontally diverse. So our work is to sustain biodiversity so that, that somehow the forests, somehow this web of creation can sustain. And how do we do it? We are gardeners. We look at this, we look at that, we look at that one living on that tree, we look at this climber, we look at the tree itself, we look at what's at bottom, and we say, my God, there's all these beings here. This particular environment has been co-created by thousands of beings. It's not just the human beings, it is thousands of beings. So here, so that's what you have over there. All those plants on those planks are actually, their main home is up on a tree, like up there, see? Okay. We have them there because they have come from forests which are being slaughtered. So we go to fallen trees, fallen branches, ripped open, mine sites. We go there and we see, oh my God, at least this we can do something about. But we are the green cross of the plant world. We go there and we bring back plant by plant by plant. And we say, okay, right now, here's a refuge for you. We don't know what's happening to the rest of the world. We'll give a chance. And our future depends on your future. That they go together. Yeah. The world's future goes with the future of the tiger, of that plant, of your children, of your music.
Absolutely.
Right?
എല്ലാടവും പുഷ്പഗന്ധം പരത്തി മെല്ലെന്നു തെക്കുന്നു വീശുന്നു വായു എല്ലാടവും പുഷ്പഗന്ധം പരത്തി മെല്ലെന്നു തെക്കുന്നു വീശുന്നു വായു ഉല്ലാസമീ നീണ്ട കൂകൂരവത്താൽ എല്ലാർക്കുമേകുന്നിത് കോകിലങ്ങൾ ഉല്ലാസമീ നീണ്ട കൂകൂരവത്താൽ എല്ലാർക്കുമേകുന്നിത് കോകിലങ്ങൾ.
Because of our presence, all these others are flourishing here on this location. Because in nature, they are disappearing at a rate that is, you won't believe it. It's like 200 species a day are going extinct for all time to come. 200 species a day are going extinct. And yet the fabric of our existence as human beings comes from all these others.
True, very true.
Yeah. So 200 species a day multiplied by 365, you get over 50,000 species a year that are going extinct for all time. They will never come back. That's what's going to happen to your art.
True.
If we don't sustain it.
കാണുന്നിതാ രാവിലെ പൂതേടി ക്ഷീണത്വമോരാത്ത തേനീച്ച കാട്ടിൽ പോണേറെ ഉത്സാഹമുൾക്കൊണ്ടിവയ്ക്കെന്തോണം വെളുക്കുന്നുഷസോ ഇതെല്ലാം കാണുന്നിതാ രാവിലെ പൂതേടി ക്ഷീണത്വമോരാത്ത തേനീച്ച കാട്ടിൽ പോണേറെ ഉത്സാഹം ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടിവയ്ക്കെന്തോണം വെളുക്കുന്നുഷസോ ഇതെല്ലാം.
For me, ecology is my religion because this is what I perceive. I'm looking and I'm seeing this and I'm asking, how did this come about? And what is my relationship with it? What is our relationship? And ecology is a language of relationships. You know, and it is the opposite of egology. You know, so I started looking at these two. What is the consequence of the ego and the superego and the super psychopathic ego? And what is the consequence of ecology, which is diversity and diversity and diversity and diversity? You know, this goes on and on and on. And the two are actually mutually quite exclusive.
പൂക്കുന്നിതാ മുല്ലപ്പൂ കുന്നിലഞ്ഞി പൂക്കുന്നു തേന്മാവു പൂക്കുന്ന ശോകം വായിക്കുന്നു വേലിക്കു വർണ്ണങ്ങൾ പൂവാൽ ചോക്കുന്നു കാടന്തി മേഘങ്ങൾ പൂക്കുന്നിതാ മുല്ലപ്പൂ കുന്നിലഞ്ഞി പൂക്കുന്നു.
I'm Warren Senders, and this has been episode 18 of Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet. Please like and subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. Thank you again for listening, and see you next time.